Okay, well, let's move on to constitutional issues, Alex.
Yes, the constitutional wrecking ball continues. In all of what follows, I am not being party political. I am simply making the neutral observation that many have made, that the Labour Party in its current manifestation is the deep state party of choice more than the Conservative Party, because it aligns more naturally with policymakers and NGO world's priorities in such matters as EU military integration, for a start. So here we see Lee Anderson, you'll see his signature in a moment, writing to the Home Secretary, Britain's Interior Minister, not actually responsible for the police forces, not even in England and Wales, although many people think that the Home Secretary is. They're not constitutionally. But this is as close as you get to ministerial accountability for the police. And Anderson's talking about a potential contempt of court. He's saying that the Home Office, her own department, has been putting out tweets, and you'll find the links in the show notes, saying that the people arrested over the recent disturbances in British cities are criminals and they will face the full force of the law before they've even been put to trial. And Mr. Anderson goes on to say, he's a Conservative Member of Parliament, of course, now in the opposition, will the criminal records be checked by the Home Office, and will this all be posted on X? If no, have they not had their criminal records checked prior to appearing in court? Why is the Home Office pronouncing them guilty? At best, he says, this is inappropriate and unprofessional. At worst, it appears to be a possible contempt of court. Of course, individuals are often threatened with this charge, but politicians and Parliament and ministers can very much be held in contempt of court as well. So Anderson's onto something there. We don't know how far this will get. The best written, short vocal summary of this, verbal summary, is by a YouTuber named, or goes by the channel name of History Debunked. And he again provides links, they'll be in the show notes, to the offending tweets, one by the Home Office, so Britain's, or at least England and Wales's Interior Ministry, saying the criminals will face the full force of the law. Another by Merseyside Police for covering Liverpool, one of the worst hit cities in the riots, because of course Southport, where the murders of the little girls occurred, was at the epicenter of this shock. Merseyside Police arrested somebody and filmed it coming back into the country, published the street in which he lives, inviting vigilante attacks on his family, and also set the arrest of him being put in a white Mariah, a police van, to music. That is how far we have sunk, really, in the presentation of interior matters. Presumption of guilt. And we go on to, sorry that this is Telegram, it must be really nasty stuff if I'm presenting Telegram, but you see a lot of political analysis here. We see that the real Prime Minister of Britain, according to Robin Monotti and Cory Morningstar, is Lord Ali. I'm sorry to have to call him Lord Ali, because this is one of these fake lords that we've had in recent years. But we see that Sir Keir Starmer's biggest personal donor has a personal security pass to Downing Street and is pretty much uniquely allowed to host fundraising and donor events in number 10 Downing Street, the political hearts of government. And he's sidled up in particular in his career to female Labour leading lights. He was brought into the Labour Party by Emily Thornberry, of notoriety in the previous decade. Angela Rayner, who's now the Deputy Prime Minister, stayed effectively at his great and favour in New York. And there was also Angie Hunter, ANJI that is, who was Tony Blair's chief people person, who was, brought him into the inner sanctum. So he seems to be the link with Blair, and Blair wanted him to be the appealer to the youth, as it were. He seems to be, running a lot of Labour and hence deep state policy at the moment. This has been reported largely by The Times, although it was first reported, of course, by smaller bloggers. Cronyism accusations swirl around Keir Starmer. The TV mogul Wahid Ali gains access normally reserved for staff and officials. Now then, what's the other scandal going on? Well, Henry Newman, a blogger whose blog will be linked, who's a Whitehall insider, formerly at the Cabinet Office as an advisor, has picked up on this, originally reported by the pro-conservative Guido Fawkes blog. There is a woman named Jess Sargeant, a former director of a group called Labour Together, whose unabashed aim is to keep the Labour Party in power. And she's been appointed at the heart of the really most sensitive nexus of the Cabinet Office, which itself is the dark heart of the British government. There is a group there, used to be called Propriety and Ethics Team, PET. It's now ominously called Propriety and Constitutional Group. It owns the Royals, the Privy Council. It decides when ministers have broken the ministerial code, which is a de facto pseudo-constitution for Britain. And it's, as he says, crossing a line, because this is the constitutional guardian for the whole of government. So this woman will not be sackable according to convention if we have another party in government. It's a move towards American-style party political appointments at very high level. Meanwhile, the Scottish Daily Express reports that the Scottish government was actually behind the scenes, instigating, egging along the creation of this ridiculous hate monster that was quite a feature last year. You know, this apparition that turned up and said, "I hate everyone," and this was supposed to instruct everyone on social media not to be like the hate monster. It was presented at the time as an initiative by Police Scotland, merely in the interests of crime fighting. But now emails have been dug up that Bute House, the Scottish government, was actually emailing Police Scotland saying, hurry up with this concept. And to top it all, this hate monster was demographically profiled. It was given basically the appearance of what's known in Scotland as a Ned, a young man with a Glaswegian working class accent, just to really lay it on thick that young white working class people from disadvantaged areas are the ones we want, you know, to come down hard on, not well-heeled middle-aged females, for example, regime-compliant people. No, they can never express hatred. It's always the Neds in this case. And now we see that came straight from government.
Yes, but at this point, Alex, we still don't have the name of the person who put the signature on the contract, and maybe that's something to get hold